Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with the Accreditations Manager from the LaGrange Police Department, Sergeant Karen Sanders. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. I appreciate you inviting me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, and I think it's been a while since you and I sat down and talked about the accreditation and what that means to the City of LaGrange and the LaGrange Police Department. But before we get into that, though, Karen, you know, as we were sitting and talking, I was finding out some interesting facts about you. And if you don't mind, again, tell us your name, if you don't mind, first of all, and how you got started in law enforcement.
All right. My name's Karen Sanders. I actually got started in 1991, so I've been around for a while. But I started off in the Chambers County Jail, and I worked in the jail. I did corrections and dispatch. I actually left there and put myself through the police academy in Georgia, and I got hired on with the West Point Police Department. And I worked there from 1995 to 2002, where I left there and came to LaGrange in 2002, and I've been here ever since.
Ever since.
Yep,
you know,
love it.
Absolutely, you know, great place to work for. But
Yes.
I'm just, you know, impressed by putting yourself through the academy, because for most people don't realize that's back when I went through, it was an 8-week course, and it could be pretty pricey.
It was. I actually drew my retirement out from the Alabama retirement system and used that to put my way through the academy.
Oh my! So you had policing in your blood deep,
I
right?
wanted to get involved, and I thought Georgia was the best route to go, because at that time you could put yourself through in Georgia, which you could not do in Alabama.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, very good. And Karen, I must say, you know, you've been here with us since that time, and I know that the LaGrange Police Department just thoroughly appreciate all that you do, because what we're about to talk about, I don't think just any and everybody could do this. So I know that they're tremendously appreciative of your services. Talk a little bit about your role as the Accreditations Manager.
Okay. I started working with the accreditation program around 2004, 2005, I think, and I've been the accreditation manager since then. One of the interesting facts about CALEA is there's only 827 law enforcement agencies that are currently involved in the CALEA process.
Okay.
50 of those agencies are from Georgia, which I think is a pretty high number.
Yes, it is.
And then we've got neighboring agencies that help us with the CALEA process. Columbus, Peachtree City, to name a few that we get a lot of help from. But in the CALEA process, if you calculate it out, according to our program manager, that's only 4.5% of law enforcement agencies that choose to participate in this CALEA program. To me, that's a very low number when you look at what the program has to offer and how the program can help your agency.
Oh, okay. I mean, 4.5% and 50 in Georgia, 820, and then 50 of those right here in the state of Georgia. And, you know, that says something about the quality and I guess the character of our police department and the leadership of our police department within itself. And Karen, I know you and I, we're in an acronym world, and you use the term CALEA. Tell me what CALEA stands for.
CALEA stands for the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. And this organization actually started in 1979.
Okay.
And it was started by the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, the National Sheriff's Association, and the Police Executive Research Forum. And these four groups came together and sat down and brainstormed and came up with this CALEA program. And it's basically a blueprint or a guideline that an agency can use to strengthen their department to make sure that they're working towards making their communities safer, because the program helps you to strengthen your crime prevention.
Okay.
It helps you to formalize your essential management procedures. It establishes fair and non-discriminatory practices for personnel in the department.
Okay.
It improves your service delivery. I mean, there's just numerous things that we have to do to stay in compliance with this program.
Okay. And I remember before we came on, you were talking about there's like 460 CALEA standards.
Yes, sir.
And the benefits from, you know, being a participant in this program, and this is not something that the LaGrange Police Department just received.
Right.
You guys have been CALEA certified how many years now?
We received our first initial accreditation in 1999.
1999.
Yes, sir.
So for all those many years, the city of LaGrange and the citizens have been beneficiaries of these benefits from the program.
Yes, sir.
And I know that I sat one time on one of the panel interviews when they came through
Right.
for recertification. And how now, and we're going to talk about some of those standards in just a moment, but what is the checks and balances of this program, Karen?
They're numerous.
Okay.
There's a lot of reports that we'd have to do and a lot of inspections that we have to do. Stuff like our use of force. Every use of force or pursuit that our department's involved in, there's a whole process that starts with the actual officer that's involved that has to write a report on what his actions were and why he did what he did.
Okay.
And that report goes all the way through the chain of command up to the chief. And OPS reviews it, the chief reviews it, and anywhere in that chain of command, if there's issues found with that, either by what the officer did or a policy failure that needs to be changed, that report can stop at that point and the needed corrections can be made.
Okay, all right. And you're the person responsible for making sure you also kind of house this information, I guess review it and make suggestions, I'm going to assume. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
And you use another term, OPS, just for that individual that may not know.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
OPS is our Office of Professional Standards. A lot of departments call it internal affairs.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, all of our use of force reports, pursuits, citizen complaints, and all that stuff go through the Office of Professional Standards, where they're reviewed and presented to the chief for his final approval.
Okay, all right. Now, and just you talked about use of force. What are some of the other standards that the police department and the officers are held to that you can tell us about?
Sure, there's a lot of, like we were talking about internal checks, like our video cameras in all our cars, and all our officers wear body cameras.
Okay.
We randomly review those. I mean, even if there's not a complaint or not an issue, we randomly pull up and review those to make sure that the officers are interacting with citizens in a proper way, that the citizens are receiving the best quality or service that we can provide to them. And stuff like, we just purchased a drone recently. There's actually a standard that deals with equipment such as drones where you have to be trained to use it.
Okay.
And you can't just use it because you want to. There's actually a report that you have to fill out every time we fly the drone to indicate why we used it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's stuff like that that keeps everything in order and make sure that everything's being done
Sound like
properly.
very strict policies and procedures.
Yes, sir.
You know, because like even mentioning about the drone, you would just think, okay, if there's maybe you're trying to search for an individual, that you would just be able to pull it out and utilize it. But I'm sure that your policies and procedures would necessarily allow you to do that. What I'm hearing, is that correct?
Well, any event like that, we can use it, but we just have to have somebody that's trained to use it, that knows how to use it, and then you have to indicate why you used it. And that's a very legitimate reason to use it, and we've used it for that, or even flying it at a community event.
Okay.
But you can't just take it out because you want to and just play
Having
with it
fun
like a
with it.
toy.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Because that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, I wouldn't mind trying to be at the control panel there, you know?
Right. It's an expensive piece of equipment, and it should be used as a piece of equipment, not as just
a play toy. That's right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, Karen, and you have been the accreditation manager for the LaGrange Police Department. Talk about some of the other benefits to the community, and why is this so important to the community, and especially at this day and age?
Well, like I talked about, is strengthening the crime prevention. That's one of the major things, because I know we have weekly staff meetings, and at those staff meetings, our crime analyst comes in and talks about what the patterns and trends are.
Okay.
And we sit there and brainstorm on how to address, how to deploy our resources to best fight the crime or whatever the issues are that we're seeing out in the communities.
Okay.
And then we come back and reevaluate that efforts that we're making to make sure that we're deploying resources in a way that's best utilized to address problems as they arise in the community.
Okay.
All kinds of property and evidence inspections, like I talked about, the pursuits inspections, even money. You know, we have like petty cash accounts and stuff. We have to do quarterly audits to make sure that every penny that we spend is accounted for and being used in a way that's benefiting the department.
Oh my. That's
Yeah.
a lot of checks and balances.
It's a lot of checks and balances.
Oh, my goodness.
But those checks and balances are necessary to make sure that everything's operating in a uniform manner in the way it's best to serve the citizens.
And it's so important, you know, I feel like coming from law enforcement during the days when we were not accredited, but we still, I like to think, held to the very high standards,
Right.
you know, as far as community policing at that time that
Yes, sir.
that we called it, and just being engaging with the community,
Exactly.
getting to know the people on your beat, on your watch, and I did all 3 shifts, the night
Exactly.
shift, all of them. Now, Karen, if there was somebody that had questions because this is a lot of information, and people may not
Yes,
fully
sir.
understand, if they had questions about, you know, CALEA and the you know, recertification, is there a contact number that you can give them, or a website that they could go and find out more information?
Yes, sir. Free to contact me at any time. I know
Okay.
you can call the number to the police department, 706-883-2603, and just ask for Karen, and they'll transfer you up to me.
Okay.
But I'd love to answer any questions that anybody ever has.
Absolutely. You know, because I think it's so important that our public, and I know that the LaGrange Police Department has the Citizen Police Academy where they engage people to come in and learn more about the PD.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that the CALEA standards is a part of that
Yes, sir.
as well. And I know you do an awesome job of teaching that as well. Karen, give them the website too, if you don't mind.
LaGrangeGA.org, there's tabs for each department within the city, and you can link to the police department. And actually on the police department page, the home page for the police department has some information about the CALEA process.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, Karen, I just want to say thank you for your years of service to the LaGrange Police Department and the citizens of LaGrange that we have been a CALEA recognized and certified community for a number of years. And that's thanks to you and the other team members that make this happen each and every year. So thank you so much.
Well, I like to say all I do is make it pretty. The guys do the work.
Do
and
the
they
work.
do, because, I mean, we have an awesome department, and they live by these standards every day, which makes my job easy.
Absolutely. Well, Karen, thank you so very
Yes,
much
sir.
for being on the show today, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment.